yesterday?
Well, I tell you, I mean, you could see it coming. We all saw it coming, but I get it. You know, they're trying to get the game in. Players need work. Big gate, but I just know when I was talking to Buddy right before the game, I said, over under on this game's 1 innings. I mean, I just saw chasing. I said, hey, that home run now doesn't count. You're good. What do you got?
Well, Chris was in here, and basically I asked if Bradford, if you guys are still considering Bradford for a potential bullpen role, and he said he's in the rotation. So have you guys informed him he's in the rotation?
We haven't defined roles yet or anything. We have him set to start. That's what he's been doing. That's what he'll continue to do. He's 5 innings, 80 pitches today. So, you know, that's where we're at with Bradford.
He's done everything he can to have won a rotation spot.
I think you look at last year, what he did. I think you look at what he's been doing this spring, how he's throwing the ball. You asked me the other day, do I like this rotation? Yeah. That's all I said, and I do. He's part of it. We feel confident that he's going to give us a chance to win when he hits the mound. I just love how he competes. You know, he's got 4 pitches now, commands them all, and as much as anything, he is really a tough competitor.
And so, again, he was so valuable for you in that multi-inning role. Who are your options for that primary spot?
Well, what we're looking at now, you know, I mentioned, there's 4 or 5, and I'm not going to leave anybody out, but I think you see the guys. Yerry's going to go a couple innings today, for example. So we're going to look at all these guys. You know, Urania, he's been throwing the ball well, for example. I can't answer, you know, what's going to happen because we still have, you know, some time before we break camp. Knock on wood, nothing happens that forces us, you know, to change or call an audible, but I think we have some really good options here.
How will you manage the playing time at first base through the remainder of camp, knowing that Nate's obviously not?
Yeah, well, Foscue's going to get some time there. Krem's going to get some time. Before we leave, sorry, I'd love to get Duran over there. You know, we even mentioned B game, maybe Wenzel, take, you know, some balls there, you know, to give all these guys a little bit of time there, including Smitty. I shouldn't leave out Smitty and Duffy. I threw a lot of names out there with not a lot of games, but we do have B games to work with, which we're going to be using quite a bit this next week because these guys are going to start playing longer and they're going to, you know, start putting together 2-3 games in a row and get stretched out. This is a big week, and so these B games you know, will play a part in these guys getting ready.
Bochy, have you ever had in your career a player come in kind of out of college and be this good in spring training like Wyatt Langford is? I don't know if like Buster Posey when he was from Florida State, if he was this good, this quick.
Yeah, he was really good. I think you look at what he did last year, yeah, that'd be hard to find somebody that's matched the numbers that he put up last year. And then, of course, this spring he's putting up the same numbers. Yeah, that's a tough one. As far as find somebody that can match him, that can compare him. But yeah, I mean, Buster was special. You know, he changed our club when we brought him up in 2010. Racking my brain here, who else? We brought up a guy, Xavier Nady, came right to the big leagues. But as far as spring training, no, I can't think of somebody, but Carter, he's been fun to watch. Sometimes we forget Carter's even a year younger, or two. I'm not sure. What is it, Rich? 1.
Coach, what have you seen from Jack Leiter this camp?
I really like how he's throwing the ball. I think he's in a good place right now mentally. Talking to him, he's got a lot of confidence going. The command, I think, is much improved. It's evident he worked hard this winter, and he's come in camp here, I think, trying to show that he belongs here. I've talked about that many times. That's how you want these guys coming in. I'm looking forward to watching him throw today. He's scheduled for 3, but the breaking ball's been good. He's using his changeup, ace. At times, man, I tell you, he's just overpowering. That fastball is really playing well right now.
Is it possible that he can be a long guy at the bullpen for you guys?
As I said, we're not ruling out anything. Well, he's here, so it's possible. That's how I look at it with all these guys. Like I said, we have quite a few guys we're looking at, but you don't want to ever rule anybody out. For one, you don't want to break their spirit. They read something there, but they're here. But I want you guys all to think that, hey, they got a chance to break with us. And when they hit the mound, that's the approach I want them to have, the attitude I want them to have. And they don't come here and just try to survive or, get through it, man. Let's just, as I said, take the bull by the horns.
To you, Castillo, he's done it in the past. The velocity's been down the last couple of years for him. Is his velocity back up?
Not where it was. It's not, but it's still good. He's still got the big sinker and the slider, throwing strikes. He's a pro too. He's been a pleasure, to have in camp here, and he's thrown the ball well. There's another one. We have quite a few decisions to make still. If you look at my board, all the pitchers, we got ways to go there, but that's a good thing. I think our guys have done a great job. Our front office, CY, bringing in a lot of really good non-roster guys that have competed very well in camp and make this difficult.
Yesterday, what were your impressions of his outing?
Really good, Jack. I thought really located well. He's just so consistent now with where he's trying to get the ball. You don't see the big misses that were happening last year, so it was good to see him throw like that. And the strikeouts will come. They'll come. He'll have those, the put away pitches down a little bit more. But I thought he threw outstanding.
You saw him a couple times kind of talking to himself on the mound. What have you seen from him and kind of maybe, I don't know, trying to calm himself down or, what have you seen from him in that that area?
I don't think he's doing it to calm himself down. He's in a good place right now. His confidence, wants to be out there. He's really, really feeling good, I think, about where he's at. As far as on the pitching side, he just probably getting on himself a little bit. That's what he's doing. But like I said, I love the tempo, the pace, as I said yesterday about him, and it's just good to see where he's at.
How do you feel about what you've still got left to decide before you leave here?
Well, this is probably the least favorite time for any manager because you got some tough decisions. We have a lot of pitching here, and a lot of them are throwing the ball very well. So, and they say that's a good thing, but it's always difficult. but to answer your question, that's that's why we're here, and our front office has done a great job of bringing some really good non-roster guys in here, compete for a job, and they're doing all they can to make the club. So we'll start to make those decisions really soon. I mean, we've got some bags leaving tomorrow, in fact. So I would say next day or two we'll sit down and then thin it out, and let some guys know, it's getting at that time. I like, the choices that we have, though. It's on both sides, position player side and pitching side.
On a couple of pitchers, you're there's four guys at the back of your bullpen: Clerk, Robertson, Spores, and Yates. You anticipate that, and I know there's always exceptions, but you anticipate that your approach is going to be those guys are pretty much one inning guys.
No,
I'm saying pretty much, not exclusively.
Pretty much, yeah. I think that's fair to say. But no, we'll have them where they can go inning plus or 2 innings. We've already checked that off with the Clerk. We'll check the 1+, 2 innings back to back. Burke's thrown today, give him back to back days. So, but ideally, yeah, I'd say we like to keep it to 1 inning.
Do you feel like you will name a closer before the season starts?
I don't know. I don't. And the only reason I'm saying that is, one is we have a lot of guys down there that can close, but I will say I think you look at what Jose did. He's the incumbent and did a great job. We won a championship with him closing games, so and that's pretty much probably how it will start.
And he's alleviated the concerns you had last year. Like this spring, he's been better than he was.
Oh, not even close. Yeah, not even close. Early, like a lot of these guys, he was offload a bit. He wanted to work on some things, and now you can see his location is where he wants it to be and stuff. Last year, he was 91, 92, couldn't get the ball where he wanted because of the neck deal, the nerve issue, and no, he's doing well.
He's been 94, 95 this spring?
Yep.
Have you liked what you've seen from Brockberg this spring?
Yeah, a really good day yesterday. I wasn't there, but threw some good sliders, a couple good change-ups. Today I'm curious how it goes with him going back to back, but the night game was a good day for him, good night. I think Berkey has made that little adjustment we talked about. He shortened things up. The arm is not as long in the back, and so I think that's going to help his command. A big part of the play for him. He can work in. All right, he's good, and now he's got the changeup that he's been using more to give him the other side.
On guys that you still have to make decisions on. I think Church pitched 1 1/3 innings one time, I think, right?
Yeah.
So you feel like you've got that box checked. You feel comfortable about that box. Would you consider him more than a 1 inning reliever?
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
You would. Okay.
Yeah.
That probably plays in his favor then, in some regards. I'm not saying that he's on the team, but
Yeah, I think anytime you can go more than an inning, you can only have so many sprinters down there, and you got to have those guys that can give you multiple innings.
has he been the most impressive reliever in camp?
Right up there. Yeah. This kid. He's been locked in from day one. And I missed the prospect game. I heard he threw great there too, but he's really great command. He's got a lot of deception. You can see that they don't see it real well. It comes on him. It plays even harder than what he's throwing, and so he commands it. Good focus too. Young kid's got a lot of confidence.
he does have plenty of options. That's the one thing that seems to be work against guys in that situation. You can always start with them in the minors and give other guys opportunities before you have to make final decisions.
Some other guys with options too. You didn't mention them.
But just, that'd be a silly question. So Mark Church was a late, he got into pitching late, as opposed to some guy who's been a pitcher first since he was 12 years old. When you got guys like Mark Church who take to pitching at a later stage, is there anything you notice about guys like that compared to the pitcher first guys that, you know, from their preteen years in terms of, I don't know, the trajectory of their development, or maybe a lack of rigidity because they're still kind of new to going about pitching, or anything at all that stands out?
Not that I have a lot of examples, you know, to go by. You know, you like to have more of a reference, because it doesn't happen a lot. But you know, I will say, when you have a position player that, you know, does convert and hasn't pitched as long, and they can command the ball the way they do, that's usually where it starts as far as a guy having success. Trevor Hoffman, I had him, and you know, he was a shortstop and very similar, over the top guy, and really had good command, and so, you know, the good athletes, the good arms, I don't care where they play, you put them on a mound, they're probably going to be pretty good. And that's what I have found with these guys that you know, convert to pitching, that because in pitching, really, it's, I don't know how many times I've said this, it's about locating and throwing strikes, and he has no problem doing that. That's evident in what we're seeing. And now you've heard, well, their arm's going to be fresher and all that. I don't know how much, you know, that plays into it, but it's just, you know, amazing how good some guys are as soon as they get on the mound. But you know, if you're playing position, if you're catching, for example, I mean, you think about, you know, pitchers hitting their spot. A catcher has to hit his spot with, you know, being quick and everything. You've seen catchers, Burstful, for example, go on a mound and they can throw strikes. So, hey, ball players, good athletes, and they used to do it more than they do it now. You know, play both ways. I'm not in the major leagues I'm talking about, but